Welcome guys, I'm back. It feels so good to be back. She's here. She's actually sleeping right over there. We're gonna make this video my labor and delivery video because that's the first video that I can think of after, having her. So we are both healthy. You will find out what happened. We have a very rocky story about how she got here. Totally unexpected, but you know what? We're both here. We're both healthy, and that's all that matters to me. So without further ado, let's jump right into the story. So we're gonna start on see if I can remember everything. Oh, preface: she is 3 weeks and 1 day old now. She just made a noise. She's she's here now, so I can tell you her name. Her name's Kinsley. Miss Kinsley is 3 weeks old and 1 day. And Jesus, wow. Oh, time flies. Can't believe she's 3 weeks old. But anyways, back to the story. So I'm going to try and remember the details. I have mom brain. Please don't come for me, okay? I have mom brain. So I'm going to try to remember everything. But, yeah. So we're going to skip all the way back 3 weeks and 1 day ago to March. Trying to remember. You might hear her. She's making noises when she sleeps. Cutest thing ever. But yeah, if I keep looking this way, she's over here asleep. So if I keep looking that way, because trying to make sure she stays asleep. But yeah, preface all the way back to March 19th. Yes, March 19th, because I had her on the 20th. 3/20/23. Love that date. But I had her on the 20th of March, and we're gonna go back to March 19th. So I was having contractions all day long. I was even having contractions on the 18th of March. And those things are not fun. Those things are not fun. And nobody warned me that Tylenol does not help. Tylenol, that was my first instinct was, okay, I'm in pain, grab Tylenol. So on the 18th of March, when I was having the baby contractions and they started to hurt, they were like 10 minutes, 11 minutes apart. I took the Tylenol and they stopped for like 2 minutes, and then they came back. And then I took another one because I'm like, I need these things to go away. Even though you would be thinking, hey, you're a week overdue. Shouldn't you be having her? And your body's trying to tell you that it's time to have her. And you're telling your body, no, I'm not ready to have her yet. Like, let me wait a little bit longer. But after that second Tylenol, I took a nap. They stopped completely, so I think that's what did it. And then they didn't come back until that morning of the 19th of March. And they came at like 7 a.m. hard. And again, I took Tylenol. Nobody told me Tylenol does not help. I took Tylenol. They didn't go away. I took another one because I didn't want to take too many because obviously I had her inside of me, and I didn't want to not overdose, but I didn't want to drug myself with Tylenol way too much. But even if it wasn't working, so I'm like, oh, if it's not working, I'm just gonna have to suffer through this. So yeah, I took another one, wasn't working. I stopped at two capsules of Tylenol. Wasn't doing no more. Obviously, the pain was still very much there, and my contractions they hurt. They were about 8 or 9 minutes apart, around there. Some people experience 15 to 20. When I started experiencing mine, they were about 9 or 10 minutes apart. That's when they started. And Lord have mercy, they hurt. You think period cramps hurt? Go ahead and get pregnant and have contractions and see how that feels. You won't have another. Okay, I'm not gonna say that because that might be mean. Yeah, but and I was also 41 weeks and 1 day at the time because I had her at 41 weeks and 2 days. So I was 41 weeks and 1 day when I was having contractions real bad, and they just happened all day long, all night long. Obviously, how contractions work. I decided to reach out to my family and ask them, like, hey, the Tylenol's not working. Please tell me, what can I do? They were all checking on me because I told them, like, hey, I've been having contractions yesterday. I had them today. They hurt really bad. They're 10 minutes apart. Like, I think it might be go time in a day or so. But anyways, yeah, they were 9 to 10 minutes apart, and they weren't stopping. They were like back to back to back. I got like I said, 9 or 10 minutes apart. But they weren't like, oh, okay, these may be false. No, they were very real. They were very real. And I was using a heating blanket. I was trying to eat. I was trying to do anything I could to help me. Because I'm a baby, you guys. I'm a huge baby. I hate pain. Like, even with my period cramps, I hate pain. I don't like it at all. So, yeah, that's what happened. And she's worth it, though. You're so worth it, Kinsley, I swear. She's worth every inch of pain that I went through. But, yeah, fast forward to that night. The contractions obviously happened from morning to night. So we're going to skip, nothing else happened. Just contractions all day long and me trying to rest and can't because I'm in serious pain. But, yeah, we're going to skip over to that night. And it was around, say 12. Yeah, it was around 12 a.m. And they picked up, and they were now every 5 minutes apart. And that's when I knew, oh, things are happening. And at first I'm like, no, I think my mind's playing tricks on me. Like, they're not every 5 minutes. And then I kept timing them on my phone. I started using the contraction timer, and then, like, I didn't really want to use that anymore, so I just kept, like, a mental timer in my head. And every time I felt another one, I jotted on my notes in my phone. And then when that stopped, and then I wrote down the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And they were happening every 4 to 5 minutes. And that happened for 2 hours straight. From 12 until 1, no, I'm sorry. They started 5 minutes apart around 11:30. Because I went to the hospital at 1:15 in the morning. Yeah, I went to the hospital at 1:15 in the morning, got there at 1:30, because the contractions were every 5 minutes for 2 hours. So basically from 11:30 all the way until 1:15 in the morning. And obviously past that, they were happening every 3 to 5 minutes. And I'm like, all right, it's go time. Let's go. I did not wake her dad up because her dad had his other son, and I don't know why. I think it's because I really thought I was gonna get sent home. I don't know why, being 5 minutes apart, they would send you home, but I didn't grab anything. I grabbed my wallet and my backpack and my phone charger and my phone. That is all I grabbed. And that's it. That's all I cared about at the time. The only thing I could think about, because I was in so much flipping pain. And I guess, like, that's the most important stuff. And I grabbed that, and I called my Uber, and thank God, our hospital is 10-15 minutes away. So I called my Uber. I got to the hospital at 1:30. That entire 15-minute car ride felt like an hour, especially because, like, he was, like, semi-driving fast, but not really. And there was bumps, and if you're in serious pain, like contractions, and you feel bumps, not a fun time. So that whole car ride, I hated, and I couldn't wait to get to the hospital. And I was, like, in pain. I wasn't like the people who are screaming or, like, anything, but I'm very quiet. When I have pain, I just make really weird faces. But I'm very quiet, don't say anything, I just make faces. But yeah, other than that, I got to the hospital, went to the labor and delivery room. I'm not gonna say building because the building is a hospital, but the labor and delivery room. and it was on the 6th floor. And I know that because how many times I've been to the hospital because of pregnancy. It's not scare. Well, yeah, there's technically scares because I had a lot of things happen in my pregnancy we'll talk about later. But I've been to the hospital a lot of times. And went to the 6th floor for labor and delivery. I knew where I was going. Thank God I remembered a mask, I believe. And yeah, I did. I grabbed it on my way out. And I get there, I talk to the nurse, and I tell her what's going on. And she's like, okay. And I give her all my information, you know, blah, 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 boring stuff, you know, hospital stuff. And she says, okay. And then she takes all my information down and she, she gives me a wristband with my name on it and all my information, like, you know, birthday, gender, blah, 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 you know, what's on a hospital van. And I walk with her through the other door. We go through the door. We go to triage. If you don't know what triage is, it's basically the you might be sent home room. That is what I call it. You might be sent home room. Or you might not be sent home room. But that's what I call it. But it's technically like a little waiting room that they have like beds and they check your vitals and they see your contractions and it's like a little mini patient room. I don't know, look it up. Triage, TRIAGE. If you're a woman and or you're a mom, you most likely know what a triage room is. If you don't, look it up. That's what it is. So yeah, we went there. They had me pee in a cup, take my weight, blah blah blah, fun stuff. I did all that, came back, and she told me to get undressed from the waist down. Okay, went and did that. So I laid on the bed, laying on the bed, and while doing all of this, my contractions are obviously happening every 3 to 5 minutes, and my intensity of contractions is like an 8 or a 9. Probably about an 8.5. They were still really bad. Like, I was trying not to show my face to my nurses, but obviously as soon as they hooked me up to the monitor, they can tell, like, okay, she's having a contraction right now, we'll give her a minute. And then the next one came, like, okay, we'll give her another minute, like, and once again you could see my face go like this. That was my face the entire time. The entire time out of having contractions, that was my face. And I was making the slightest bit of noise, but not really, because obviously they hurt. So, yeah, if you want to have a baby, I hope you like pain, because there's a lot of pain involved. But anyways, so yeah, they look at all my contractions on the screen and they say, all right. They check me, which hurts. Like, getting your cervix checked hurts a lot. So I had my cervix checked. They didn't do it. Well, they waited till my contraction was over. Thank God. Because if I had my cervix checked while having a contraction, I would probably cry. To be honest, yeah, I'd probably cry if I was having a contraction while I getting my cervix checked. I think that would be really hard to check your cervix though. But they waited until my contraction was over. Obviously, we're on a timer. So she had to kind of go quickly and check my cervix before another contraction happened and something changed. So if I remember correctly, I was 80% effaced. I was 1.5, 2 centimeters dilated, 80% effaced, and I was at a -2 station. Yes, I believe that's what it was, off my memory. I believe. If not, it was somewhere around there. So that's where we were at about around that time now. It was about 2 in the morning. So they go ahead and say, yep, we're gonna admit you. And I'm like, oh crap. Oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. Here I am thinking, oh, they're gonna send me home. Nah, they admitted me. Yep, they admitted me and took me. So, and I took off the rest of my clothes. They gave me a patient belongings bag to put my stuff in. They gave me a gown. I had to get fully undressed at that point, which I hate those hospital gowns. they don't cover anything. Like, we had to use a blanket to cover my backside because those hospital gowns don't cover anything. So I know now that when I have baby number 2, I am buying my own hospital gown because those hospital gowns don't cover anything. And it was cold. So, like, you feel everything, all the air and stuff on your body and skin. But anyways, yeah, so they gave me my IV. I was literally freaking out the entire time because I don't like needles. And my entire pregnancy, I got used to the needles, but obviously you have to. But, oh, they gave me my IV. I did not like it. It was super easy. I stared at it the whole time. And she talked to me. My nurses were super awesome my entire stay at the hospital. Every nurse I had, fantastic, awesome, love them all. But anyways, yeah. So we got my IV in and had that done, and they took me off until to the labor and delivery room, and that's where I was until obviously she was born the next day. So to make this story very, very not as long as it should be, but to cut it in half, we're going to basically say that from 2 in the morning until 2 in the morning until 12 in the morning. Yeah, basically from 2 in the morning on March 19th until 12 in the morning of March 20th. That whole entire time I was in labor and delivery, and obviously still having contractions. My water broke halfway at 6 a.m. When I mean halfway, I mean like when I stood up, I like got half of it out, which I didn't even think was possible. I thought once it breaks, it breaks. But no, they said I had a bulging bag, so I guess that's what that meant. And my water halfway broke at like 6:30, around there, a.m. And I just stayed and watched TV and laid down, and they gave me fentanyl at like maybe 9 or 10, maybe 11-ish. And I had breakfast, lunch, dinner, you know, the whole hospital shebang. Had all that, and I liked it. The food was pretty good. My water probably fully broke at maybe 12 or 1 in the afternoon. I think. I'm not quite, the times may be wrong, but I think that's when it broke. But it fully broke when I went to go use the restroom, and it felt like a water balloon exploded down there. That's what it feels like. When they say like a gush, that's what it felt like, a gush. Sorry, my stomach was making noises, but that's what it felt like. So from there until 12 in the morning, around 12 in the morning, we began having practice pushes. I was now dilated to a 9.5. And it took them forever. Well, I'm not going to say them. It took my body almost a while. It took it a while I've never really reached 10 centimeters. I had to push at 9.5, which they said was totally okay after they kept checking me. I also had a fever of 102 degrees. Not fun. I also had some kind of infection in my body, which I didn't know what was going on. They were talking to, because I did get an epidural around maybe 8 or 9 o'clock because I could not do it anymore. The pain hurt so bad. Like after my water broke, that pain hurts. Like, so while having your water bag in there, the pain isn't that bad. Well, it's bad, but it's not as bad until your water breaks. It hurts. Like they told me it was gonna hurt more. It hurt more. So I went ahead and asked for the epidural, which was easy. They gave it to me, and then I got a top off at like 1 in the morning, which a top off is basically like, okay, they give you, like a little extra, because I don't think it wears off, but I asked for a top off, so they gave it to me, and I had obviously a catheter. If you don't know what a catheter is, it's basically a pee bag. Yeah, that's what it is. It's a catheter because the epidural makes your legs go numb, your whole like bottom half go numb. You can't feel it. So obviously, when you go numb, you can't get up and go do anything. You're stuck to your bed, which I was totally fine with. They asked me, "Do you mind being stuck to your bed?" I'm like, "No, I don't care." So they put a catheter in me. That is the first time I had a catheter, by the way. It was fine. I mean, it wasn't like a bad experience, but it was fine. It just felt weird, like not being able to get up and go use the restroom and having to lay in bed and go do it, but whatever. So that happened. We started having practice pushes around 12 in the morning, maybe 12:30 going on 1, because obviously the epidural made me pass out. I went straight to sleep. I was tired, exhausted, and obviously being in pain and being on meds and everything that was happening, I was just exhausted. So they went ahead and let me sleep, and then they're like, "Hey, all right, you're at a 9.5." And we tried different positions, maybe for 30 minutes to get me to a 10, and nothing was working. Every position we tried to get me that half centimeter over to a 10, nothing was working. So they're just like, okay, she's okay. I guess whatever was going on down there, I was okay enough to go ahead and start pushing. So we started practice pushing at 10 p.m. and they said I was doing pretty good for a first time mom. They said I did pretty well. So pat on the back. Like, let me tell you, I didn't know what I was doing, but they guided me. They showed me how to do it, and it was hard. I was out of breath. I felt like I ran a whole marathon for a week straight and didn't get a break. So we did obviously the count to 10 for every contraction. We skipped some contractions because I really needed a break, and so she's like, "Do you want a break in this? Do you want a break in this contraction?" I said, "Yes, please." So some of the contractions I just didn't push at that time because I was flipping exhausted. So some of the contractions I didn't push, but most of the time I did. So obviously we counted to 10, and you like hold your breath, obviously. If you're a woman, you know how contractions work. If you're a man, then basically you hold your legs and do it in different positions. The nurse will guide your woman through. The nurse guided me through, and you hold your legs and you count to 10, and you like squeeze down into, you kind of look like this. You like basically squeeze your bottom, but like you're pushing, like you're taking a poop. That's how I can explain it. Like you're taking a poop. So that's how it was. But anyways, we did that until I want to say 2 in the morning. We did that until 2 in the morning, and she's like, "Okay, so we're gonna stop, and the nurses are gonna come in, and like the whole delivery team is gonna come in." And I'm just like, "Okay, cool, we're getting the show on the road." But I was like not nervous, but I was nervous because she's like, "All right, it's push time. Like this is for real. Like those were practice pushes, but we were pushing actually, so it was practice, but it wasn't." So and she also asked me, "I see her head. Like, do you want to touch it?" I'm like, "No." No, I don't want to touch my daughter's head, but whatever. If you want to do that, they have like a whole mirror and everything, and you can see. And I'm just like, "No, I'm squeamish. No, I don't want to do that." But anyway, so yeah, they come in and they break my bottom of my bed down, and like I'm like, "Oh, this is happening. Like this is happening." Yeah, they break the bottom of my bed down, and fun times. So my delivery nurse was an African American lady. She was super nice. My whole team that was right there delivering with me, all of my nurses, I love all of you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. You guys have a hard job, and you deserve everything, all the goodness that comes to you. I could never, like, props to you guys, because yeah, I could, whatever, but that's why, to each their own. But anyways, yep, so we went ahead and pushed from 2 o'clock in the morning until from 2 in the morning until 4:26 a.m. when she was born. Miss Kinsley was born at 4:26 a.m. at 8 pounds 8 ounces, and she was 21 and 67 inches long. She was big. She's a big girl. Not like chunky big, but you know, she was long, and she was 8 pounds, which a lot of people were like, whoa, Nelly. Yep, she was big. But anyways, trying to think what happened. Oh, so obviously they put her, here's where the twists and turns come. So they put her on my chest, and then they rip her off, and my heart instantly drops, because I'm trying to figure out, why did you just take her away? I have blood all over my hand. She wasn't crying. I have blood all over me, and I'm just sitting here like holding her. I didn't say anything when they first put her on me. I'm like holding her, and I'm like, whoa, this baby's, I'm like holding a baby. Like, dude, what? Like, I'm holding my own flesh that I just pushed out in 2 hours. Wow, that was crazy. But they took her away from me, and they obviously took her to the little baby warmer thing where they had the babies at, the other side, kind of where her dad was. They had her over there, and she still wasn't crying. So I'm like, oh Lord, what's wrong? So I'm like instantly thinking, crap, what's wrong with her? And no one's telling me anything at all. So I'm just like, oh no, what's wrong? So I'm still like I can't really see, because there's like 15 nurses over there working on her. So I'm just like, she's making a noise. There's like 10-15 nurses working on her. She's still not crying. They're doing everything they can. And then they finally get, like, I'm over here on the other side, like, pushing out my placenta. And they said that she had pooped inside of me, which they call mech. M-E-C-H, I believe is how it's spelled. But it said that's what happened. And I found out later that she had fluid in her lungs, and she was, like, sent to the NICU, and she had like a CPAP machine and everything, and it was hard. And that part, like, in the actual labor and delivery room, they did get her breathing with like a little nose aspirator, I think that's what it's called. Little, you know, the nose bulb thing that you get the boogers out of your nose. They used that. I guess I couldn't see, because obviously I was in my bed and she was over there. But the nurses were telling me what was going on, and that she was breathing and she was okay. And she had a lot of things go wrong with her. Like, she had a lot of issues. Now I want to say issues, but she had a lot of things go wrong with her. And that, like, scared me really bad. I started crying a little bit, but I didn't want nobody to see me cry. But I was obviously, like, freaked out. Like, all I kept thinking was, please let her be alive. Please let her be alive. And sure, she's awake. She might be asleep. Okay, I think she's okay now. Sometimes she'll, like, sleep and then cry for 2 seconds and then put herself back to sleep. I guess that's just a newborn thing. But whatever. Yeah, back to the story. So they had took her, and they took her to the NICU, and her dad went with her, and I was still getting my stitches. She gave me a 2nd-degree tear. So I got stitches, my first time getting stitches, which was with her, which I'm glad it was with her, but I hate stitches. Excuse me, especially having to get them down there. But anyways, I got the stitches, and yeah, that happened. And after I got my stitches, I was getting all cleaned up, and they got the blood off my hand, and yeah, they did that. And I was praying for her the entire time, and her dad was texting me what was going on, and they did x-rays and everything on her, and I'm very glad they did, and they just basically said that she was okay, and she had to stay in the NICU for 8 days, and that was really hard because I obviously got discharged and I couldn't take her home, which was really hard. That was a very hard day when I got discharged and I couldn't take her home, because I'm like looking at all of these other families, and I'm like, oh well, they get to take their babies home in like 2 days, which everything is out of your control. I had like a birth plan, and I had all these other things that I wanted to happen. Like I wanted to breastfeed, and she didn't want to because she was latching, but she didn't want to. She wanted no parts of breastfeeding. So she's formula fed 100%. So that all of my plans went out the window, which I'm totally fine with because she's eating, she's healthy, and that's all that matters. But yeah. Basically that's pretty much it. She stayed in the NICU for 8 days. Unfortunately, she did have a G-tube put in her nose. If you don't know what a G-tube is, it's a feeding tube that goes through your nose. I guess it goes somehow to your stomach. And she had a G-tube put in because she wasn't meeting her feeding requirements that they wanted her to be at. She's doing fantastic now. Now she's doing like off the wall charts feeding fantastically through with a bottle. But yeah, she was struggling to feed in the beginning. She wasn't taking the milliliters that they wanted her at. So that was that was something we went through, and she's good now. We're home, and coming home was the best thing ever. And okay. Yeah, that was pretty much my labor and delivery story. It was hard, it was mentally challenging, it was physically painful. Everything about it was, she's a blessing, and her name actually means miracle, which it fits her. So it was a rough one. But yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you for listening, and I appreciate it so much. And I don't know what videos or what video ideas I'm gonna put out next. I guess I kind of brainstorm. If you want like throughout this, well, I might put the pictures. I don't know if I want to put her pictures in the video or not, because those are like kind of personal to me. I don't want to say pretty graphic because it's just her with tubes and everything. I didn't really take any pictures because just didn't. But yeah, thanks guys for listening and hanging out with me and listening to my story. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time, and I'll talk to you later. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
You know, it sounds like an alright starting spot. I know, right?